Hello and welcome, as it is the completion of the 21st day of December 2020. My name is Derek and this is the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades, and the like within each own risk and their own reward. For myself, risk reward management's always job number one, and most certainly a very interesting and volatile outside day amongst today's session in the silver market, as it is 7:17 p.m. Eastern Time, and price action's in at $26.48. But as I mentioned, an outside day, and by extreme proportions, is the high for today. Well, it got up to, I figured 27 and a quarter by Christmas. It got up to 27.63. And then it came down to 25.12 as the low, falling $2.50, near that of 10% from the highest to the lowest point. And it wasn't that long of a differential in time from high to low. We'll get to that when we shorten up the time frame. It then came on to close up for the day at 26.38, up 34 cents. And in the first 18 minutes of today's session, I don't know when this thing started. I guess in cryptos it would be that way, but in the early session rather, up 9 cents and a half so far. The setup remains very well. Price action coming back to areas of where we came from in the 18 average of highs today. And as mentioned, what a very, very volatile intraday session. As at 8 p.m. last night, 20 hours, we had an hour up 2.5%, up to 26.82, a couple sideways hours. And then at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, continuation of the move. Of course, this was a failed breakout, most certainly at the time, as it was up by 1.13%. Then again further. This is just crazy, crazy stuff here. And then 27.62, we can see on the session at 5 a.m. I was sleeping during this entire run, but hey, this still happened. 25.14, the price action coming down to rebounding quickly. But even again, still within the 8 a.m. hour, how it came down, it made a very deep higher low, and a most certain noticeable higher low amongst that session. We can see here just at 8 o'clock. I don't know what was being said of the news and events, but it's recovering the rally relatively decent. And again, price action looking very, very well. Weekly chart, as we start a new week, I think it's off to a pretty decent start as far as how its setup situation looks, and the exitation on the 18 average of highs. Well, that's what I'm seeing in here. And let's move on next to gold. And on its monthly, it's attempting the exitation amongst its setup, stuck within the 18 hours. I hate to say stuck as in, but that's what it is. But it's within the sideways consolidation. A little bit of a failed breakdown here, but still no signs of, possible failed breakdown, because if it resists the 18 and starts to go down, then it's a true breakdown, or just a start of reversal. But there's no signs of it being that possible failed breakdown. It's got to get above the 18 average of highs. On the daily term time frame, though, things are looking very, very productive, as we had it get above the 18 average of highs on December the 8th, come back, and then start exitation again, breaking above those highs. And today's session coming back to areas where it came from again as well, the 18 average of highs. So a very good setup, I think, for gold amongst the daily term time frame here as well. Let's move on to Bitcoin, as it remains above the 18 average as well on the upper end part, highs that is. On the daily chart, as it's ever since getting north of 20,000, it's stayed and held above 22,000, at least from the correctionary points, as we've had a little bit of down days in the last couple of days. And when you look at it, this is tiny red candle, and the tiny red candle for the day is down 3.15% after it was down the day before that 1.56%. And amongst us on the weekly term, still nicely extended above the 18 average of highs. Key thing, extended and nicely. It's been that like up here like 7, 8, 9 or something. A little bit of a correctionary phase, but correctionary phase below 20,000. And on the monthly term time frame, is it extended over? It's extended. I don't think it's overextended though, because it's period number 2 above since October. And so it's having its nice little exitation run. So just because it is like overextended here doesn't mean it can't remain to continue so. In fact, oftentimes it does. But at some point, including now, whether it's now or later, in need of a correction, and markets will correct via that of price and or time. The Bitcoin dominance on the weekly time frame, showing that Bitcoin is well overperforming all the other altcoins collectively amongst the weekly chart. amongst the daily chart at highs not seen, now going back to the middle of the year, back in May, and in the upper end of that range there. As the weekly chart showing that it could go higher. And if it breaks this level of resistance, we could be going back to points of way back when. And what this means, of course, altcoins not having the gains against the dollar like Bitcoin has been most certainly in the recent time frame. And thus, a lot of coins pricing it. When this is in an up move, which it has been over on the weekly, daily term time frame, as we can see in here, that should mean that the vast majority of altcoins priced against the Bitcoin are in downtrends. Like Bitcoin Cash. And look at all I mentioned before about the possibility of this, I think it might have just in yesterday's video, but ultimate failed breakout, and it's been just lower highs and lower lows for quite some time. LITECOIN has been a little choppy and trying to do a little bit of an uptrend, but at the same point, it's nowhere near the upper end of the part of the screen. In fact, it's closer to the lower end of the screen. And some, like Ripple, had a fantastic rally in here, and it's now given a lot of it back, and it's been having a second test of this key support level, and of course, it's been in a big downtrend against the Bitcoin. And Ethereum is showing an inverted cup and handle formation, which is a third test of the support level at the 2677 handle. First one early November, then mid-November, again now. Overall, holding in there relatively well for 2020 compared maybe to a lot of the rest of the other altcoins, but as it goes, still, of course, very much in a downtrend against Bitcoin. Whereas, and there's a lot of other good coins out there most likely. I'm just going to focus on Theta for this particular video, or to end this video anyway. And it has given a lot of this rally back in here, but at the same point, it's been, well, it's in the middle of this range, and it's breaking over rather, or holding over these higher ends from 2019. And well, Theta's been holding in a lot better. And the setup in here from the down move, well, what a great rally it's been to go from first to like about 1,000 Satoshi up to over 6,000, have a nice higher low correction down to 21, and then retest and break above that 6,200 area up to 7,000 and change. Break down below the 18 average of lows on that of October the 15th. And really spend a month and a half just lower highs and lower lows. Price action stays within and below the lower part of the band. But then it gets above the upper part on December 4th and 5th. Then it gets above it again here December 9th, and we see a lot of strength amongst the 18 average of highs. And then a red down day, but instant recovery. So we have nice instant recovery on December 18th, holding in there nicely for both the days of the 19th and the 20th. And then within today's session, how it's rallying back up to the upper end of this range. And now just starting to break above the 18 average of highs, which is newly rising at a very low rate of ascent. While it has established a large amount of resistance at around the 4,200 area from the resistance place on December the 9th, 16th, 17th, and 19th. Okay. I think it looks like a nice little situational bullish setup. Now, as far as this is concerned, the weekly band's just, is it flattening out, but it's still got to get above the 18 average of highs. But to me, at least, seems that it should make a test up towards, which is pretty much a pierce above the 45 or 4,600 level, is where I be expecting this to go towards. And then a final look at Theta against the US dollar. And it's almost worth the dollar, at least on a 1-to-1 ratio. 95 cents for one Theta, with today's action getting up today with an intraday high of 96 3/4 of a penny in today's Monday's intraday session, as it's had this level of resistance at about 79 cents has been clearly taken out. It first tested it at the end of September, and most of the resistance test from then was around 73-ish area, but it did have that retest on December the 10th. And of course, after that, pulls back down the 18 average of lows and a higher low from the December 1st period. And then immediately lifting off from this point, and immediately when it reached the level of resistance at 79 cents, have a nice little break above it, breaking above it on December the 16th. So it stands 5 days later, and it's already 14 cents above, close to 20% just from the resistance break highs. So most certainly a fantastic setup. And amongst how this is going, this is just another excitation setup, play within this trend on the 18 average of highs. I think this could be a phenomenal a year moving forward for pretty much all these asset classes, cryptocurrencies, and precious metals that I've been talking about coming into the year 2021. But I do like the current setup as it stands right now for Theta. What I'd like to see happen for me, but whatever happens, happens, is well, maybe Theta can just rally where everything else really doesn't. And then because Theta's up so much, it can stop going up and other coins go up, because then I can just flip coins back and forth a lot better. But the market's obviously going to do what it's going to do. And all I can do is react to the situation accordingly. And thank you for tuning in. Take care. Bye-bye.